Good morning, UPBOptionMillionaires.com. It is a Thursday, November 13, 2014. The stock futures are higher. We had this big move. It's the 4-week anniversary to the lows that we saw 4 weeks ago when stocks were falling off a cliff and all the bears were calling this a bear market. And it's done exactly the opposite ever since. This really sharp move. I mean, from the lows back in 2012, November 2012, the Abenomics lows, when the Japanese central bank decided that they were going to print money until the cows come home. We saw these beautiful V-bottoms, and the market would indeed pull back. You know, everybody talking about how easy this market's been to the upside. No, it hasn't. We get these big sharp reversals, and this most recent one was the sharpest of all. And the reversal to the upside has been the sharpest that I can recall as well. Look at this reversal. I mean, just a beautiful V-bottom. If you draw a trend line across here from what we saw at the start of the summer of this year, and it coincides here what we saw back in September when we hit new record highs before this high. You go across, we're meeting up against that trend line, so we're getting pretty close to that. That's something to keep an eye on. Again, all trend lines, head and shoulders patterns, any kind of bearish reversal pattern, not going to work so good in this market. But embrace it. Embrace it. I'm actually in some puts. I got some USO calls, so those are all working out pretty nasty. On this planet, at least. On the planet Darsek, we're doing pretty good. That's over in the third realm of the black hole region. Just kidding. All right, so let's look over some individual names here. Microsoft continues. We're up, Microsoft. Who would have thought, right? Just like Apple back in May of 2013. But a beautiful trend. Look at a 10-year monthly here. And if you go back even further, we're above the bubble highs back in 2000. So this is an all-time record high for Microsoft. Not the same for Yahoo, which broke over 50 yesterday, but it's getting there. We only need, 125% more to the upside. Nonetheless, a great move here off the lows. You remember Yahoo was left for dead, and back in late 2007, early 2008, remember the buyout from Microsoft at about, what was it, $32, $33 a share. Everybody was laughing at Jerry Yang, I think his name was. But here we are. We're at $50. So the guy's been proven right. Good for you, Yang. Woohoo! So Yahoo's up 3.34%, firmly over $50 yesterday. How about Twitter? Was on the watch list at optionmillionaires.com, the $43 calls. Support remains strong here. The stock was up 10% on an analyst day. I shouldn't say 10%. It was up about 6.7%. It's up another couple percent here. Pre-market is at the 43.43 level. And if you look here, just from a chart perspective, heading back the last 5 trading sessions, a beautiful bull flag going on here. So we see continued move to the upside of Facebook. It's kind of lagging the market, but if you look at the low that it hit here, nice inverted head and shoulders, a consolidation, looking for higher prices, something I might be looking to get some calls in this morning. So if you're looking for a stock that's really kind of lagging the recent move to record high levels, Facebook. One that hasn't been lagging, Alibaba has been breaking out here. We had a pullback here. This is the singles day, but looks poised to break out to the 125, 130 level before the week is over. Whole Foods, talking about breaking out. I was talking about this earlier this year. Whole Foods, which was pretty much flat. There we go. And you can see its support here. I was talking about this gap getting filled. When the stock was at $36 and all the analysts were downgrading it, talking how bad the stock was going to perform the rest of the year. I was busy telling you this is going to mirror Big Lots. Big Lots back at the start of the year, and I'll pull up the chart in a minute, performed and still continues to perform very well. Whole Foods, same thing, heavy short interest, a lot of negative sentiment in the stock, and so we're looking for a move to continue up over $50. Big Lots, I talked about this at the start of the year, this nice shaded circle here. You can look it up at the blog at optionmillionaires.com. Dipped down to $26, has not looked back. I was actually looking recently at a topping pattern, but it's just blown it to bits. So we look at this long-term trendline resistance here as a possible point of resistance. I'm actually in some puts, oddly enough, just like I was in the calls here, and it seems like with a lot of the trades I make recently, I get into them very early. Very early. I'm going to be right. I know I'm going to be right for Big Lots. I think it's going to pull back down under $40 level. Just like I was right here, I got into the puts. It took a little bit, but ultimately, handsomely rewarded. There's no other way to put it. Same with USO. I'm in the calls from early this week. We're getting right there. We're just under the 29 level. This is going to remind you of XLE, which dipped below the $80 level before bouncing. So USO, it's ironic, I wake up, I'm in some puts, market's up, a third of a percent. I'm like, all right, well, at least USO is going to rally. No, which is good, I'll trade off a losing position in my puts so that the whole world can have cheaper gas to fuel their cars and travel this Thanksgiving and Christmas time and holiday season. Google's at a great point here. A lot of trend lines coming together. We're at the support at 550. We're right up at the resistance from long-term trend line. When we break above this, we could be looking at record highs here for Google. I've been talking about this one for quite a while. I haven't bought calls in a while, but I think this could be the time to get in some calls for a move up to $600. You can see a good spike up to about $575. There's only 2 days left for the rest of these weekly options until they expire, so I might be looking to get some calls here on Google. So 2 of the trades I possibly make today would be Google calls and Facebook calls. Baidu, speaking of a search engine, Baidu is breaking out to record high levels. I talked about this a couple years ago. Citigroup, when it was at $80, this is post-split here. Negative about the stock, just like Merrill Lynch and Bank of America is about Tesla, keeping that $30 price target. And I was talking about this beautiful channel it was in and broke out of it, and it has not looked back. I mean, just amazing. If you can look up the videos, I put them up at the blog at Option Millionaires, but also on StockTwits. I was talking about this break and how Baidu is going to be a momentum stock again. That's pretty momentous. Let's look at a couple more stocks. We have earnings tonight from Yoku, which has been kind of beaten down. It's an ADR. We have TubeMogul. A recent IPO up 5% yesterday. That's got earnings. We have Digital Alley. Nice spike there to 32.50 a little bit ago, but earnings reports from those. And also we have Kohl's stores this morning with earnings. Let's see what they're doing. We'll go to Kohl's. And then we'll call it a day. I'll see you in the chat room at optionmillionaires.com. Walmart was over $80 here pre-market. Let me see. There we go. Yeah, almost 81. That's an earnings report there. And we had Kohl's come out. Disappointed a little bit. Down to 57. Not down that much. So, all right, UPB here, optionmillionaires.com. The dollar index is down a little bit. Let's see what the bond market is doing. We have the bond market a little bit weaker. Let's see what gold is doing. Gold is kind of flat, and then we look at crude oil down 0.5%. Look at that move down. So hey, UPB's got some calls. Let's trash this thing. All right. Again, I am not the perfect trader, but the best thing to do when you're trading out of the money stock options is keep your investment at a minimum. Yesterday we had JP Morgan Chase. I put those up at the private Twitter feed at optionmillionaires.com. The $61 puts at 14 cents went to 75 cents. So. And look at the move we had to the downside for JP Morgan Chase. So those ended up being almost a 300% move. So there you go. Yeah, I do have a winning trade every once in a while. I am modest. Now sign up for my newsletter and buy my book. All right. I like to laugh every once in a while. All right, UPB, optionmillionaires.com. See you in the chat room. Everyone have a great trading session. It is Thursday. I love this time of the year. Leaves are falling. Thanksgiving's coming. Santa Claus is on his way.